All right, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video, another NBA video, an NBA offseason video. But in this video, we're going to be talking about the Emirates NBA Cup 2025. Now, I know this isn't everybody's favorite event, it isn't everybody's favorite time of year. It tips off on Prime on October 31st, but it is a part of the season and it is something I have to talk about. Um, many times I've talked about this, and I've even before I had this channel, when I thought about it, I was like, this is so confusing. Who is this for? Why are we doing this? Is it even important? Does anybody really care? And I, throughout the years, it's been 2 years. We've had two NBA Cup champions. I think some people have grown to care. I think last year the games were really good, considering you had some really good games from the Thunder. You had some really good games. Um, let's see, from the Bucks, from Rockets, and the year previous to that one, 2023, 2024, the Lakers, the Pacers, the Suns. You had some really good games, some really good times. And then other times, you get through the course of an NBA season, you get to about like midway, how like after All Star break, you're like, who won the NBA Cup? I forgot, you know. Um, that being said, after this long diatribe, we're going to talk about it, and I'm going to try to explain it to you. I explained it to you last year. I think I'm going to have to explain it every year that I do this because nobody knows what's going on. I think this year they've done the best at explaining what it is. Um, but yes, let's jump into it. Like, comment, subscribe. If you like what I say, like the video. If you have any opinions, comment down below. And if you just like the vibes, consider subscribing. The Emirates NBA Cup again tips off on October 31st on Prime. So yeah, let's break down some stuff. I want to break down some of the history of the NBA Cup. I want to break down how this is going to work. I want to break down the groups. The groups are right in front of you. You have West A, West B, West C, East A, East B, East C. Um, and then I want to talk about some games that um, some key games that the NBA has provided for us that will start on October 31st, like I said, and then carry on throughout the group play, throughout the knockout rounds, and then we'll get the final couple teams in Las Vegas. The Emirates NBA Cup is returning to Vegas. I think it's always going to be in Vegas, and at least for the next couple years. And yeah, let's jump right into it. So I'm just going to call it the NBA Cup. I'm not calling it the whole Emirates NBA Cup. That's too much to say. Um, the NBAC. Should we start calling it that? I don't know. Um, let's talk about the last couple winners of the NBA Cup in 2023 2024. The Los Angeles Lakers defeated the Indiana Pacers 123 to 109. I don't really remember that game, if I'm being honest. LeBron James was the MVP, of course. This is when the Lakers still had Anthony Davis. The All NBA Cup the one team, the best players essentially in throughout the course of the NBA Cup. You had Giannis, you had Anthony Davis, you had Kevin Durant, you had Tyrese Halliburton, you had LeBron James. Pretty good year, pretty good year. Um, I have a thought, but I'll save it for after this. 2024, 2025, the Milwaukee Bucks defeated the Oklahoma City Thunder, um, 97 to 81. The MVP of the game was Giannis Antetokounmpo. Um, and the All NBA Cup team was Giannis, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Damian Lillard, Alperen Şengün, and Trae Young. I forgot Trae Young was on that team. Was on this All NBA Cup team. Interesting. Um, so the thought I had was, and the thing I said at the beginning was, does anybody care? Does this mean anything to anybody, or does it mean anything to the players? And I think it has grown to for the players to care about it. I mean, there's a money incentive, there's a monetary incentive, so I think players do care a little bit more. Um, but I also think there's this thought that I just had cross my mind is that it's the same thing with the All Star game. Is that I think if the best players care and make the other players care, everybody will care, and that's I know that's like a double positive, or yeah, it's a double positive, but I think it's really who is in these final games Like I think Giannis really cared. I think the Bucks really cared, even though their season fell apart after this. Essentially, um, last year, I I think Giannis cared. I think whoever's in these last couple games really needs to care, and I think it's really important for them to care. Because if they're just like, oh, like I hate to say it, but if Oklahoma City won, they'd be so nonchalant about it. They'd be so like, oh yeah, we won, whatever, the NBA Cup, yeah. They had their sights set on the championship, and they did win the championship. So that was their goal. They didn't really care about winning the NBA Cup. I don't think they got the better prize, in my opinion. I think everybody's opinion that nobody cares who won the NBA Cup that year. They care that the Oklahoma City won their first NBA championship that year. You know, and I think the NBA, um, the finals overshadows this in a way as well. Now that I'm talking about it and speaking about it. But yeah, those are your last two winners. Lakers in 24, and then Lakers in 23, and then Bucks in 24. Who will be the next champion? I don't know. This is such a crapshoot to think of who would win it. Um, but maybe after we're done, you can comment who you think is going to win this year. So let's dive into the details a little bit. How this is going to work, and I'm going to try my best here. I'm reading this directly from the NBA website. I'll leave it linked down below or in the comments if you want to check it out for yourself and read it for yourself. Um, but let me try to explain this to you guys the best way I can. So, um, in summary, the Emirates NBA Cup will tip off on Friday, October 31st in team markets and culminate with the semifinals on December 13th, Saturday, December 13th, and the championship Tuesday, December 16th, taking place at a neutral site in Las Vegas. The complete schedule will be released in August. I think that, yeah, they did release it, so this is a bit outdated, at least this section of it. The Emirates NBA Cup will consist of two stages: group play and the knockout rounds. Um, Group play: all 30 NBA teams have been randomly drawn into groups of five. Some people don't think it's random, but we won't talk about that. Within their conference, based on win-loss records from the 2024-2025 regular season, beginning Friday, October 31st. I feel like I've said October 31st so many times already, and continuing through Friday, November 28th. Um, each team will play four designated group play games on NBA Cup nights. They'll have the NBA Cup floors like they did the other nights. The Minnesota Timberwolves will have nuclear waste spilled on their courts again and blind everybody. Yeah, the Minnesota Timberwolves spilled nuclear Chernobyl waste on their court last year, and it was bright, blinding green, neon green, if I remember correctly. That was terrible. That was terrible. Um, one game each against each other, each opponent in its group, with two games at home and two games on the road. And these will all be throughout the course of the regular season. No extra games will be added. The only extra game that will be added is the NBA Cup final. So two teams out of everybody, of the other teams will play 83 games. So they've done their best. Um, Continuing here. Well, you have the groups in front of you, just so again you know who's playing who in each group. Um, This is the second part of this, the knockout rounds. 8 teams will advance to the knockout rounds. The teams with the best standing in group play games of each of the 6 groups, and 2 wildcard teams, the teams from each conference with the best record in group play games that finish second in its group. Okay, that might be new. I don't remember them having that. Um, the knockout rounds will consist of single elimination games in the quarterfinal played in NBA teams markets on Tuesday, December 9th and Wednesday, December 10th. And the semifinals and championships will be played in Las Vegas, December 13th and December 16th, respectively. The knockout teams will compete for the prize pool and the NBA Cup championship trophy. Um, da, 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 Yeah, so they're just explaining two teams are going to play an extra game. Um, yeah, okay, so that's pretty much it. That's pretty much all the important stuff. So let's talk about. I guess we should talk about the groups here. Yeah, let's talk about the groups. Um, okay, yeah, let's talk about the groups. Yes, yes, yes. Sorry, I'm just I'm pulling stuff up and looking at stuff. Okay, so again, I have to address this. I have to get better at this. Personally, I cut the I cut the bottom four teams off. So the bottom four teams in West C and West or East C, you can see it's the Blazers, Spurs, and then on the right it's the Bucks and the Knicks. I apologize. I thought it was gonna fit. I thought about it and I was like, oh no, it's gonna fit, and it didn't fit. My bad. My bad. My bad. My bad. Anyway, let's move on to the groups here, and then we'll talk about the games, and then we'll talk about who I think is gonna be the best out of each group, I guess, and then we'll talk about the key games, I guess. Sure, yeah, because this is all sort of we have to do this on the fly when it comes to these games when they come up because I really can't tell you who's going to be bad and who's going to be good. I don't have the team each individual team's full schedule in front of me, um, and I don't want to dive that too deep into it this far out from it. So here we go. West A on the top left of your screen. They have the Minnesota Timberwolves. You have the Oklahoma City Thunder. You have the Phoenix Suns, you have the Sacramento Kings, and you have the Utah Jazz. Well, it's going to be very boring first part of this. The best team might be the Oklahoma City Thunder because they made it to the final game last year and they won the championship this year, the NBA championship. So this might be the boring answer. I think it's going to be a toss up between the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Timberwolves. I think they're both really good teams. Um, Suns might be able to surprise some people. I don't know. The Sacramento Kings are going to be bad. I have no hope for them whatsoever. And then the Jazz, I just don't know how to feel about the Jazz. I'm going to see how they play their first like week or two of basketball. Um, Moving on to West B, you have the Dallas Mavericks, you have the Los Angeles Clippers, the Los Angeles Lakers, the Memphis Grizzlies, and the New Orleans Pelicans, with no direction. Ah, um, this is gonna be this might be the most interesting group here. Yeah, this I think both West and East B are really interesting. Anyways. Oh man. I think I think the Lakers are gonna need some time to gel. So I don't think they're gonna be the best team in this group, but it wouldn't surprise me if they started out hot anyway. That being said, very early in the season, not having to worry about any injuries, the Clippers might be the best team in this group because there's no like implications of oh we have to wait to the end of the season, make sure everybody's healthy. Everybody's gonna be healthy to start the season hopefully, and they might be able to get off to a hot start, win a lot of these games. The question becomes are they gonna care about these games? I don't know. Maybe. So I'm gonna take the Clippers, and then I'm gonna take the Mavs. The Mavs. I think the Mavs are gonna come out firing this year. I think they have all the will, all the power, all those words I'm trying to say, but I'm forgetting right now, to come out hot, and to come out hot, and to have Cooper Flag, who's going to play some meaningful minutes, number one pick, to have Anthony Davis, to have Klay Thompson. I think you're sitting all right. I think they'll be really good. I think they might be able to come out of this group. Um, West Group C, Denver Nuggets, the um, Golden State Warriors, the Houston Rockets. Damn, I'm blanking on a lot of names. Um, the Portland Trailblazers and the San Antonio Spurs. This group is also very interesting, but I think the cream of the crop of this group and the two teams that could come out of this group is the Rockets and the Nuggets. I really like the Nuggets team, and we're going to break it down a lot more when we get into it. When I do my preseason team predictions and their off-season grades and everything like that. But I really like the Nuggets. I feel like the Rockets are going to take some time to gel. There's a lot of new faces, a lot of new things going on. I mean, they did. Where is it? They did. Kevin Durant did play well in 2023 in the NBA Cup. Might be able to redo it again. And Upper and Shengu played good in 24 in the NBA Cup, so they might have some really good experience there. But I don't know, man. The Nuggets just feel like they're gonna be on the warpath this year. They had a disappointing exit. Um, they re-upped on a lot of talent. I'm gonna say West C is gonna be the Nuggets, and then moving on to the right side of your screen, East A. Um, you have the Atlanta Hawks, you have the Cleveland Cavaliers, you have the Indiana Pacers, you have the Toronto Raptors, and you have the Washington Wizards. Um, I'm gonna say I'm gonna. Uh, I think the obvious answer is the Cavs. But what makes this really interesting is one, well, the Pacers. We have to see how they come out. They might come out a little rocky. They sort of have to revamp their style of play, but not really. It's going to be different without Tyrese Halliburton for sure. But also, the Raptors might be young enough and might have enough giddy up to really make a push for winning this group. The Hawks are also really good. They had a really good offseason. And I don't think the Cavs are going to care about this because they started off really hot last year and it didn't mean anything. Um, but I'm is it wild? I'm gonna say the Hawks, dude. I think the Hawks can take East A. Yeah, give me the Hawks, dude. Um, East B, you have Boston Celtics without Jason Tatum. You have Michael Porter Jr. and the Brooklyn Nets. You have Cade Cunningham and the um, Pistons. Damn. You have the newly rebranded Orlando Magic with Paolo Banchero, Franz Wagner, and then you have the Sixers, which we don't know who's going to be out there opening night. This is an interesting group as well. I think it's really between. Well, I think the Celtics could be in any number of conversations this year, depending on how they start the season. That being said, I think teams that I know that are going to start the season well and that want to start the season well because they want to make the playoffs and they want to have some better seeding are the Pistons and the Magic. And what the Magic did this offseason was really good around the edges. Hoping Paolo can take that next step, hoping Franz can take that next step. Um, and I don't even the Nets are having like a throwaway season this year. I don't know what they're gonna do, but I don't think they're gonna be good. Um, and the Sixers again, we don't know who's gonna be their opening night, so I don't know if I trust them enough uh, to win these games early on. They might have some good run mid late season, but early on, I don't know. So give me the Magic, East B winners, I guess, best team, and then East C, East C. Uh, this is such an odd amalgamation of teams. You have the Charlotte Hornets, you have the Chicago Bulls, you have the Miami Heat, you have the New York Knicks, and you have the Milwaukee Bucks. I think it's very obvious. It's the Bucks and the Knicks are probably the two best teams in this group. Um, I see it every year. I've seen it for the past like 3 years. The Hornets are going to surprise people. The Hornets are going to surprise people. I don't need them. I don't need to be surprised by the by the Hornets. I just need them to be healthy. That being said, I think the Knicks have made some really good low key transactions this offseason, and I'm going to give it to the Knicks. I think the Knicks, the runners up to represent the East in the NBA Finals last year, um, on a revenge tour of sorts with some re-up talent. Give me the Knicks. So that makes West A, um, Thunder, Wolves, West B, Mavs or Clippers, West C, Nuggets or Rockets, East A, Hawks or Raptors, East B, Pistons or Magic, and then East C, Knicks or Bucks. So yeah, that's that. Those are my picks for the best in those groups. Let's talk about some games real quick. Here, some games they have pulled up here. Some games Yeah, yeah, some games. Yeah, yeah. And then yeah, perfect. Okay. Let's see. Which ones look interesting here to me? I'm not gonna go through all of them. Celtics at Sixers. Ew. That actually might be interesting because they both might be banged up. Yeah, that looks pretty interesting. I'm not just gonna say I'm not gonna I'm gonna tell you which ones I'm gonna watch. I'm not just gonna say ew or oh, that's gonna be interesting. Don't worry, don't worry, don't worry. Rockets at Spurs. That's gonna be a really good one. Um, on November 7th. That's gonna be really good. At 7:30. Ooh wee. That's gonna be really good. I'm gonna be watching that one. Nuggets at Warriors. I kind of have to watch that one, but Nikola Jokic always dices up the Warriors. That's the late game on November 7th. Watching that one. Uh, Nuggets at Rockets on November 21st. That's going to be a super interesting one. That'll be a must watch. Bucks at Knicks. Giannis in the Garden is always always something to watch. Always good. That's a must watch. Mavs at Lakers that same day. Oh my God, that's a really good night. November 28th is a really good night. Oh yeah, okay. Nice. Okay. I like that. I like that. That's the first like handful of primetime games. Um where are those at? Those on Prime? I think those are on Prime, yeah. Those are all on Prime, yeah. And then these next ones are on NBC. Clippers at Lakers on November 25th. Super cool. Um that's gonna be one to watch. Lakers, Chris Paul, James Harden, Bradley Beal, James Harden versus LeBron, DeAndre and Luka Doncic, Austin Reeves. A weird amalgamation that this has become the Battle of LA is those two teams with those rosters. um, and then the games on ESPN, a few here. Pistons at Celtics, that could be very fun. Pistons could could take that step. When you beat a team like the Celtics, even though they're beat up, I tip my hat to that. Uh, Wolves at Thunder on November 26th. That's gonna be interesting. And then um, Rockets at Warriors. That is a must watch as well. Rockets versus Warriors is always a classic. Um, I hope the Warriors aren't wearing those disgust. I talked about in my jersey video, they have these awful cream colored ones that look like army fatigues. Ugh, yuck! Please don't wear those. Wear something else. Um, and yeah, those are the must watch games. And then yeah, yeah. Okay, let's hop into some FAQs here, frequently asked questions, and then we'll get out of here. This is on the NBA website as well. Uh, let's see. Where's some questions here? Oh yeah. So one frequently asked question is what is the championship of the Emirates NBA Cup receive? And the answer is the champion will receive a trophy, the NBA Cup, in addition to a prize pool that will be allocated to players on the team that qualified in the knockout rounds, with allocations increasing depending on how far the teams progress in the tournament. I actually did not know that. I thought only the winners got money. Um, let's see here. They're talking about group play. How is group play determined? Before the group play drawing, each team was placed into a pot based on the record from the prior regular season record. In each conference, one team for each pot was randomly selected into each of those three groups in that conference. One pot had the teams with the three best prior season records in a conference. Pot two had the teams with the fourth through sixth best prior season records in a conference, and so on and so forth. Blah blah blah. Let's see what other questions are there. Do. How does the Emirates NBA Cup affect the regular season? Every team will play in an 82 regular game season. All Emirates NBA Cup games will count towards the regular season standings, except the championship, which will sit outside of the regular season. Um, do. And that's all the frequently asked questions because I don't want to read all of them and steal their content. So yeah, that is it. That is the NBA Cup talk. Uh, I think this is the last time we'll talk about it till it actually starts happening. Um, got some more NBA stuff on the way for you guys. Uh, Winding down here towards the end of the off season, we will be doing some preseason predictions, some award predictions. I'm going to talk about some teams I'm going to be very interested in to watch and all that good stuff. So thank you guys for tuning into this video. A bit of NBA regular season talk in the off season. Hope you guys enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Check out my NBA playlist. Check out my WNBA playlist if you want to. And yeah, thank you for watching. I will see you all next time. Cheers.